Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Aiman Akmal bin Azami, and my metric number is 2020460628. For introduction, according to Irwan Subri, states that fatwa is a term that means the answer to the question in terms of language. In Malaysia, in the country's administrative institution, fatwas have also been known as institutions under Islamic affairs, which are the referent of the Muslim community related to issues and activities that have arisen and want to get views from Islamic scholars on a matter. Second concept, the word fatwa according to Ibn Manzur is an act done by the Mufti on a law or a legal decision. From Al-Qasimi's opinion regarding the meaning of fatwa is to answer a problem that is a matter of doubt in the law. If a person answers a question asked to him, then the answer is considered a fatwa. And third, for state and federal level, the fatwa institution in Malaysia has two parts, namely at the national level and also at the state level. For 3.1.1, fatwa at the national level. According to Irwan Subri, that the Council of Malay Ruler, Majlis Raja-Raja, which serve as an institution responsible for preserving and coordinating Islamic affairs in Malaysia, has established a committee named as the National Council for Islamic Affairs (MKI). Hence, the establishment of Fatwa Committee under the law or regulation of National Council for Islamic Affairs established in early 1970. And the last, for 3.2, Fatwa and state at the state level. At the state level, the fatwa institution will refer to the State Fatwa Committee, which is chaired by the Mufti for each state to issue fatwa. The fatwa institution at the state level, namely the State Fatwa Committee, is established and managed by the State Islamic General Council. And according to Hasnan Kassan, that all Islamic religious administration enactment of the state in Malaysia have to have the right and responsibility to state a law if needed, which need to be decided by the state fatwa institution.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Nazmi Berapai and my number metric is 2020610454. Okay. I will explain about qualification to be a mufti. Okay. Any Muslim jurist mufti may declare a legal opinion known as a fatwa in response to a specific decision made under Islamic law. In essence, fatwas are used to address any question that may come up within the Muslim community, from Ibrahim bin Arifin and Abdul Rashid. There are two categories of muftis. The first of which is an independent mufti. According to Al-Nawawi, there are muftis who are familiar with the consensus, parables, as-sunnah, and sources decisions from the Quran. They must be knowledgeable about the rules that create the concept. Mufti must possess in-depth knowledge of hadith, al-nasakh wal-mansukh. That means the principle of abolition. Okay, next is the dependent. This is the dependent muftis is the second category. Dependent muftis is the second category of mufti. Dependent mufti fall into four kinds. Okay, first, the mufti who follows the teachings of mentor is accordance with their individual imams. Two is a mujahid or mufti who adheres to his teacher's methodology while also supporting the teacher's point of view. Okay, third is who analyzes the opinion of these professors as well as the opinions of a fuqaha from another sector, a pupil of his teacher off that fuqaha from his own sector and then makes a decision in accordance with their opinions. Okay. Number 4, the Mufti is memorizing the various views of his sect about the provisions of the law. This group of Mufti, however, could not make a decision. Al-Qasimi, 1986, Al-Nawawi, 1999.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Akmal Syawal bin Salman, and I will continue to the role of fatwa. Alright. For the history, after Prophet Muhammad SAW passed away, all of the Sahaba and companions of the Prophet has become new primary sources for all of the people during those days for asking about Islam. So, given that the fatwa was issued by the companions at the time of the Prophet's passing, it is clear that it evolved through the legal system through time. So, fatwa plays a big role in the community in order to prevent any authentic sources that has been spread by the community. The role of fatwa has some clear explanation based on some cases that have been happened in Malaysia, such as child marriage, which is a child under the age of puberty, warm donation, various type of vaccine, gold sales and investment, and inedible ink, and among others. Alright, I'll continue to the role of Mufti. Mufti is an Islamic jurist who is qualified to issue an opinion, which is fatwa, that is not bound by Islamic law, within Sharia Islamic law. And Mufti have the responsible to issue fatwa regarding all Islamic matter and based on Islamic law. Mufti also holding a role that is important to resolving all the issues that related to the religion. So next, the role of Mufti is to explain the problems and issues arising among the community in order to avoid any misunderstanding about the issues that happen, which is arising. And there were three types of method of approaches, which is al-hikmah, al-mau'izatul hasanah, and al-mujadalah. Next is enforcement of fatwa in Malaysia. So fatwa was under the jurisdiction of each state's Islamic Religious Council and was issued by the council prior to revisions to the state administration of Muslim Islamic law enactment in the late 1980s and early 1990s. And the council had the power to issue and publicize fatwas either on its own or through a fatwa committee that appointed. So the flow is begin with the chairman of the Sharia committee will conduct a meeting of the committee to discuss and vote on draft response. And subject will be sent to the religious council. But in 1989, the new administration of Islamic law enactment was amended and introduced, which is the separate with the religious council, mufti and Sharia court. They are separate into three. And all the issues and matters that related to the fatwa will go down through to the Mufti department instantly, which is there is no applicable thing for send the issues to the religious council back. Next is institutions that can issue fatwa in Malaysia. Which is the first one is National Council of Fatwa Committee on Islamic Religious Affairs Malaysia. So, which is the name is MKI, and this institution was established in the early 1970s. So, the Majlis Raja-Raja, the State Islamic Religious Council, or individuals from MKI may send topics for discussion, deliberation, or management to MKI. In these situations, MKI can offer suggestion and advice. The next is Office of Mufti of every state. So, for example, in Wilayah Persekutuan, matters related to fatwa falls under the Mufti department. It is provided in section 34 of the Administration of Islamic Law, which is Federal Territories Act 1993, which provides and the Mufti will first provide instruction on how to conduct research and create a working paper. The fatwa committee will then discuss the situation and draft the fatwa before sending it to the religious council. So the Religious Council will then recommend to the Sultan that the fatwa be published in the Gazette with his approval.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Muhammad Zulfakar bin Ahmad with numeric 2020612982. Today I will present about National Council of Fatwa Committee on Islamic Religious Affairs. According to the Article 11 of the National Council for the Islamic Religious Affairs Malaysia, the National Council of Fatwa Committee on Islamic Religious Affairs Malaysia was established in the early 1970s. The committee issues fatwas on any matter brought to it by Council of the Rules. The MKI, which is the lead by the Prime Minister, is federally established coordination entity. The Rules Council in March 1968. MKI was also formed to debate, deliberate, and manage the council submitted to it by Majlis Raja-Raja and Majlis Raja-Raja, the State Islamic Religious Council or MKI members. MKI can provide the advice and recommendation in this situation. Specifically, the council task and jurisdiction is provided for under Section 7 of MKI regulation, which says, first, to debate, deliberate, and handle any matters presented to the council by the Majlis Raja-Raja, any state government, or any member of the council, the purpose of offering advice or suggestion. Second, advising the Majlis Raja-Raja's state government or state Islamic Religious Council on any topic pertaining to Islamic law or the administration of Islamic law and Islamic education in order to improve, coordinate, or encourage uniformity in the law administration. The National Council was founded at the request of the Conference of Rules, which is a constitution body on administration of Islam at the national level. As a result, the National Council must present issue concerning Islam to the Conference of Rules. The Prime Minister's leadership of the National Council demonstrates its relevance. Members include the Menteri Besar and the Chief Minister. This is demonstrates the council powerful status, regardless of the political party that makes up the state government. The state administration should be include the National Council. Only if this is done will the council's original role be accomplished. Next, I will present about Office of Mufti of every state. For example, Mufti Office of Wilayah Persekutuan Fatwa related issue are handled by the Mufti Department at Wilayah Persekutuan. Fatwa related issue handled by the Mufti Department at Wilayah Persekutuan. Section 34 of the Administration of Islamic Laws Federal Terrorist Act of 1993 states, first, the Mufti shall, on the direction of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and may, on his own initiative or on the request of any person, made by letter addressed to the Mufti, make the publish in the Gazette a fatwa or ruling on any unsettled or controversial question of the relating to the Islamic law. Second, there is no statement made by the Mufti shall be taken to be a fatwa unless and until it the published in the Gazette pursuant to the subsection. First, the Mufti will provide instruction for conducting research and preparing a working paper. The topic will then be addressed in the Fatwa Committee, which will produce the fatwa for submission to the Regular Council. Following that, the Regular Council will propose to the Sultan that the fatwa be published in the Gazette. This is a methodological produce that aids in the appropriate contemplation of fatwas. The possible presence of the spread fatwa issued by different government is a topic connected to the federalism, as the right to publish a fatwa is under the authority of the state. There is a suggestion to create the function of the Grand Mufti to address this issue. This implies that there will be a Mufti prepared to issue a fatwa for Malaysia as a whole. This plan necessitates a change to the federal constitution. Furthermore, the Mufti tightly linked to the Sultan position as a head of the Islamic religion's rules have demonstrated their capacity to be powerful in the term of position and control, as seen by the process of the creating government following the general election of Farid Sultan Shoaib 2008. This is not to say that the issue of the fatwa bans cannot be overcome. The Conference of Rules Nation Fatwa Committee will play the role in guaranteeing fatwa consistency. The creation of the National Fatwa Committee is specifically the responsibility of the National Council of Islamic Religious Affairs. The Conference of the Rules as an organization that brings together Malaysia, head of a state, should effectively exploit in uniting influence. The law also mandates the State Fatwa Committee seek guidance from the National Fatwa Committee. The legislation has once again stressed the importance of the Conference of the Rules in this topic, stating that the National Fatwa Committee's advice requiring the permission of the Conference of Rules before issuing fatwa covering the entire country of Malaysia. To change the Conference of Rules status, the Conference of Rules must pick the head of the National Fatwa Committee Council. Another issue that has to be addressed in the term of fatwa is the promotion of the fatwa. Because gathered fatwa are binding on Muslims, they must be widely disseminated as soon as possible. The search of fatwa must also be made easily. There is presently a website where you may view written fatwas. However, coverage and accessibility might be enhanced. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, last slide is current fatwa in Malaysia. First is the ruling of electronic cigarette and vape. Okay, or vape. Smoking a e-cigarette or other forms of vapor was ruled to be forbidden by the Muzakarah of the Fatwa Committee of the National Council of Islamic Affairs on December 21 December 2005, and they are considered cigarette, electronic cigarette or vape are haram. Okay. Okay. Next is about number 2 is fatwa about rapid rich shame. Okay. The rich and similar shame law was considered during the National Council for Islamic Religious Affairs Malaysian 69 annual meeting, which took place from June 30 until 50, 2005. Muslims are not allowed to participate in the rich and such shame law, according to the Muzakarah, because it contains aspect of gambling, riba, gharar, and tadlis. As a result, all of this operation income comes from illicit illicit sources which against Allah. That's all from me.